Well, hey there, welcome to Worth It Wednesday. Every Wednesday we send a principle worth learning, a question worth answering, and a recommendation worth taking. Today's principle is that a quirky personality is not a business model. I'm getting some of your business right now. There's so many ways we could come out this. The first thing that I think I would say with regard to this that I think is just helpful and important to understand because it's reality is that there's a difference between being a founder and being a leader. And the world needs founders, right? I get to be a founder. Many of you that I'm talking to right now are founders. And so often a founder is this person that has this vision for something that doesn't yet exist. And they're so creative and so energetic, and they've used this just force of charismatic personality, and they just explode onto the scene and typically kind of a dramatic fashion, like leaving your full-time job to do this thing. You just make it happen. And that is such a powerful and good and necessary thing. But I'll tell you, that founder, that artist that is so passionate about the work and so much of an emotional roller coaster and so much of a visionary and so much of a dreamer, that person is a beautiful person. And at the same time, that person, if they're not careful, is a terrible leader and is a terrible business owner. And so you need to decide, okay, am I just wanting to be a founder and just going to be kind of a solopreneur that owns a job, or do I want to be a business owner, a leader, and a manager? And if you're going to do those things, recognize that the strategy and approach that helped you create the business is not going to be the same strategy and approach that will help you sustain and grow the business. It's going to be two different paths. But really kind of what we detail in the email, and if you want to get on that email list, you can sign up at pathforgrowth.com. We send this email every Wednesday. What we talk about in the email is just the idea that neither path is necessarily right. It's not like one is right and the other is evil, and it's not like one is right and the other is necessarily wrong. The one that is wrong is the one that you try to pursue that you don't actually want to pursue. Because here's the deal, you can own a job or you can own a business. And own a job almost sounds like a term or a phrase of derision, right? Like I'm talking down about it. I'm not talking down about it at all. There was a while for this business where I was thinking that might be what I want to do. So what does owning a job look like? Well, it looks like you becoming so uniquely qualified at that thing. You are so uniquely and specifically wired and talented at that thing. You're like an artist at it. And we're not talking about paintings. Let's talk about cabinet making. That's the example that Seth Godin always uses. Let's talk about website building. You're so good at doing the thing that you can charge ever increasing prices because your time is scarce. You're going to have to do that. And people will pay it because what you do is so valuable and so unique and so distinct and so directly hardwired and wrapped in to your personality and your individual gifting. And if that is the case, then what you want to do is you want to pursue the path of becoming an artist and owning a job. Now, what does that mean, though? It means that your time is not super scalable, right? So the thing that you're going to scale is a value provided, and you are going to have to find ways to become an absolute professional, one of the best in your industry, one of the best in the world at doing what you do. And you're going to have to highlight and focus on the things that make you unique and distinct from everyone else. Now let's go the other route. What if you want to build a business? Well, if you want to build a business, then what you're looking for are patterns and processes. And it doesn't necessarily just have to be you that finds these things, but you need to look for what are the things that I'm currently doing with regard to how I make cabinets or how I design websites or fill in the blank that could be standardized, documented, and ultimately repeated and delegated, right? Chris Ronzio, he's the founder of Trainual. He always says, do, document, delegate. And I think that that's really applicable to this, right? If you're building a job, there's really not a huge need to document things because who's going to read the documents? You? And you can't really document art, right? But if you're building a business, boy, you better be in the business of documenting things, or your team better be in the business of documenting things, because if you can document it, then you can delegate it. But before we document it, we have to standardize it. And That's the gap that so many artists and even so many founders can't cross. But here's the deal. If you want to build a business, if that's what you deeply, deeply want, I want you to know that it's absolutely possible. You just have to find the patterns. And I think it was Tony Robbins one day used the phrase unconscious competent. So many of you are walking around right now and you're the founder of the organization and you don't really know why you're successful at what you do. You just know you're successful at what you do and you just keep doing it, right? And so maybe you're that salesperson that's outrageously successful. Maybe you're that individual producer. Maybe you're the website builder. Maybe you're the cabinet maker and you don't really even know what your process is. You just know how to make the sale. You just know how to make the freaking cabinet, right? Awesome, great. You're an unconscious competent. You are really good at what you do and you have no clue why, right? Okay, so what do you do with that person? Well, if they can't do this on their own, then you bring in someone else who is able to look for patterns and processes and systems, and they watch you do this and they observe you and they say, okay, when you do that thing, when you're making the sales call, why do you do that? And when you say it this way, why do you say it that way? Whenever you cut the cabinet wood that way, why do you cut it against the grain and not with the grain, right? Asking all those questions so that they can find the patterns, so that they can document the process, so that the process can eventually be delegated. And that is how you build a business. But this all connects back to the principle is your quirky personality is not going to be the thing that makes your business succeed over the long term. It will make your business succeed initially for sure, but if you want to build a business, you're going to have to build on something more sustainable, more durable, and more scalable than your personality. I hope this is helpful. And I hope that you're able to apply this. If you want to share this email or this video with anyone, you can go to pathforgrowth.com and just have them sign up for Worth It Wednesday. Y'all, we're rooting for you. We're praying for you. We want to see you win. Remember, my strength is not for me. Your strength is not for you. Our strength is for service. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go.